Let's go for it! I like the dark stuff. Give me the dark stuff. I like the dark stuff. Give me the dark stuff.
Hey there, everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave, the host here at the Dark Stuff channel on YouTube. Thanks a lot for checking out my new video. So today I'm introducing sort of a new thing I want to try out on the channel. Now, I've really been digging a lot of people sort of going back and sort of reanalyzing albums that they've really liked and having just grand discussions about it. I mean, I've done it on a couple of times. I know plenty of other people do. Revisiting classic albums and sort of deciding what do they think about it now. Well, I'm doing a variation on that. So what I want to do is I have so many records that I don't play very often that maybe sometimes they're actually gems that I just overlooked or something. So I'm going to start doing this thing called pulling random shit from my collection. I'm going to listen to a record. I'm going to pull it out of there with no preconceived idea what I'm going to grab a record, and then I'm going to do a little discussion about it, a little review. My first selection for this new, series or whatever, Dan Hartman, Instant Replay from 1978. You may be familiar with Dan Hartman from an 80s hit that he had called I Can Dream About You, which was like, I can dream about you. You know, he's also been a songwriter for other people. He's a producer. He produced a Plasmatics record of all things. But this particular record is disco. It came out in 1978. Now, I bought the record for a very, very specific reason, and I'll let you know about that in just a second. But before, let me give you a little background on Dan Hartman. So, Hartman started out as a member of the Edgar Winter Group in the 1970s. He was a bass player, and he was the singer, and he's the vocalist on one of their big hits called Free Ride. Okay, so you've definitely heard his voice. He somehow parlayed that into a solo career, and in 1978 made the album Instant Replay. The music is absolutely disco pop, okay? The song Instant Replay, the title cut from the record, did go to #1 on the dance charts in 1978, and it did crack the top 30 on the pop charts. So it's a decent-sized hit back in 1978. The reason I got the record, though, okay, was because of one particular thing. Do you see this guy? Okay. Vinnie Cusano. Vinnie Cusano. Okay. Vinnie Cusano in 1978, that was his real name. But in just a few short years, he was Vinnie Vincent of Kiss. He was on this particular album, and on the back of it, he's credited, it says here, Vinnie Cusano, 12-string rhythm and second guitar solo on the song Double O Love, and guitar solo and background vocals on Time and Space. Now, I will say those are two of the maybe least disco-ish songs on there. I mean, Double O Love was pretty funky, so it's kind of weird. Again, it's so weird. Now, I found out about this because I saw the video for the song Instant Replay, and just hold on to put your drink down because you're going to spit it out when you see how hilarious this video is. Hilarious thing about that video, I mean, besides the obviousness of it's the late 70s and all, is besides Vinnie, you also see G.E. Smith, who went on to be a member of Hall & Oates in the 80s and had done a number of things. I think he was on the Saturday Night Live band or something. But anyways, at this point, he was just a backup guy for Dan Hartman. So was Vinnie Vincent. And to think that Vinnie Vincent, in just 4 years, was a member of Kiss with the makeup, he was the Ankh Warrior. He's the guy who replaced Ace Frehley and then went on to do the Vinnie Vincent Invasion and all this. It's just stone cold hysterical that this is where he started. Now, I will say that if you're looking for great playing from Vinnie, he does do a kind of a long guitar solo on Time and Space, which is pretty good. It's hardly shredding, but it's a longer solo. It's more melodic and everything. The rest of this album, though, honestly, is just boring disco pop. It may not be as disco as like the Tramps or something, but like it's disco pop, and this is exactly the kind of stuff that was all over the radio in the late 70s. And I was just a little kid back then, but I remember hearing tons of stuff like this Dan Hartman record. So, Hartman had a big career. I Can Dream About You. He produced a Plasmatics record. He produced all this other stuff. He co-wrote hits for other people. That's fine. But this was his origin, and it is a little bit comical, to say the least. So my final thoughts on this record are, you just never know where people are going to wind up. I mean, who would have thought that some guy in a disco band in 1978 would later be the guy who, came into Kiss, co-wrote a bunch of tracks on the records, became the lead guitar player, and, had this huge impact on the 1980s Kiss. So my first random pull wasn't exactly a stellar one, but nevertheless, I'm glad I heard it. It's going to go back on the shelf. I don't really ever sell back records. It's just nothing I do, but it will just go on the shelf and just take up space probably for the rest of my natural life. All right. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Take care.